Hey gamers, it's Wintermute here from Grind This Game, back with Frostpunk, and I thought I'd do a bit of a speed run here, going along the faith path. I wanted to try to finish the game as fast as possible in one run. I think I managed to do it in under 2.5 hours, so I broke it up into 3 episodes, and it's not an optimal playthrough by any means. Like I make a lot of mistakes just because I'm kind of rushing through it. But I'm using gathering posts this time, which kind of really help. First, I send people out to gather from the regular piles just to get a few resources so we can get this generator going. But then we're going to use those resource gathering buildings, because that enables the people to stay warm while they're gathering. And you don't have to micromanage each pile. If you just put 10 people in the gathering hut, then they'll kind of clear out the piles as they go. So we got the generator going, which is good, and we got to get some houses built, but I don't always rush to build the houses just because they'll sleep in the kind of central core there and they'll stay warm. And the first law I don't do it just yet, but there's a quest here to build houses for people, for 40 people, and later on I screw up and don't quite make it in time. I think I thought I put 4 houses down, but I only put, or 4 tents, but I only put 3 down. Just putting more gathering posts, get that coal. And I think I'm going to do child shelters first. We're going to be kind to those children. And if we take that path, they can become helpers in medical tents later on. Now, I put the workshop in early in the second ring out because I want to start getting research done. Because we got kind of idle engineers. Now you have to make sure you don't run out of any critical resources, so I got to keep them balanced. I probably go a little bit overboard on coal, but so we get the engineers in there. And the first thing I usually research is the well, first I put in a cookhouse because we got 100 raw food and we don't want them eating that and they're getting hungry, so. But the first thing I usually research here is faster gathering, which just lets us ramp up our resources faster. And I put in some more tents, but like I said, I only end up putting in 3 where I needed 4. My mistake while I was rushing through this stuff. Now we need a medical post for all those people getting cold. Get our last 5 engineers in there. Now, whenever possible, I try to speed it up to the fastest speed, because it's a speed run. Now we're out of wood here, so I can't do much of anything. I usually try to build a sawmill pretty early on, but we do have wood over here, so I'm going to put a gathering post to cover those 3 areas. Now you can build multiple of them. Could build 2. Next law I do is soup. Lets us stretch our food a little bit farther.
Listen, everyone. New law is signed.
And I usually do either heaters or steam hubs next, but we're out of wood, so. Get that gathering post up.
Gather your tools. The shift is ending.
So I do heaters next. I don't know if it's the best choice, but it'll let us heat the research building. Switch over to soup. You can see my provide shelter quest ticking down.
Get to work.
I totally missed it.
There's plenty to do.
Now we're gonna need more raw food eventually, so I put a couple of hunter huts in. Now I prefer hunter huts over the hothouse because the hothouse requires steam cores, and I wanted to use all my steam cores for automatons. So here's the child shelter we had to put in. Now the beacon is also something I want to build really early on. That way we can get expeditions out. Yeah, the children are happy in their child house. So here's where I fail. But not the end of the world. Some hope lost, but we can regain it. Now they're really mad for sleeping outside, so I take on the quest to build shelter for everyone. So we'll just slam some tents in there. Some people I've seen that I've watched, they just put tents in right away, but that kind of starves of wood, which you kind of need for ramping up resources. So fighting arena I do next, and you want to build kind of with a bunch of houses around it, because it keeps everyone happy who lives around the that building. So we don't have enough people to fill that hunter's hut, so I'll just leave it for now. I could micromanage the food making building,
Time to get to work.
because they don't have any raw food often, but I'm kind of rushing through things, so I don't really micromanage that building. So we're depleting our resources piles pretty fast. So I'm gonna do Sawmill next because we need wood. Once we go through those wood crates, and they go really fast, there's no other alternative for wood. Later on there's a wall drill that lets you get wood, but we do a sawmill first. So we're gonna put our beacon in, and I probably shouldn't have built it there. I should have built it kind of near the... Oh, I changed my mind. Perfect. I put it way out at the exterior, because it doesn't really need to be heated. So the beacon's up, and we're going to start exploring once we build a team. Now I probably should have built 2 scouting parties earlier on, but I just stay with 1. Get some streets in there. I'm trying to keep everyone working. Got a lot of complaints on my first run through, which is where I was learning the game, so I was making tons of mistakes. But I had idle people. This time I try to do a better job of that. Now we kick on overdrive because it's getting colder, but it's going to warm up again soon. Scouts are there, so we're going to explore. And we're sending the survivors back just so we can keep exploring outwards. We heat the gathering posts there so they stay warm while they're working. That's the benefit of the gathering post.
Get going. I'm preparing your friend.
Got the sawmill researched. And steelworks is next, because once we run out of those steel piles, there's no more steel unless we build a steel mill. And I'm tearing down those gathering posts that don't have resources around them anymore. Kind of get those resources back. Now steam hub next, that lets us kind of heat exterior areas. And in my first playthrough I didn't use those enough either. They're pretty awesome. Now I'm going to do medic apprentices for our children. So they will help out in our medical facilities. Now I didn't end up editing any footage out because I wanted to leave in kind of every single move that I do. There are parts that I might speed up. So sawmill, we want to get kind of really good coverage here. I probably could have built it in the center of all that wood, but I end up just putting it on the outskirts. So we destroyed a little bit of wood by doing that. Destroyed a bit of forest, so we don't get all that wood out of there, but I think it'll be okay.
End of shift. Go rest.
Here come some survivors. I'm fast forwarding through all the cutscenes as well. I eventually want to get 4 workshops up so we can get really fast research. I tried to get all the research done and that was possible, just to expose it all, and by the end of the game I think I get most of it. And I also wanted to build a lot of automatons. I think I end up building like 7 or 8 of them, maybe even 10. Because automatons, they can work in the cold. So you don't have to keep them warm. Okay, another workshop here. That'll speed up our research even more. Need a bit of a road to connect it though. So the game, depending on when you're watching this, comes out tomorrow, April 25th, and apparently it comes out with 3 scenarios. In this demo that I'm playing, there's only one scenario, the main scenario. So I'm really excited to kind of dig into those other 2 scenarios. I'll be probably playing those through the day the game comes out tomorrow.
Move. Time to get to work.
So turn the heat on in that sawmill, keep people warm. And I like to pre-build the roads out, just kind of the rings, as a scaffold to see where I can do future things. Now we don't have enough wood to do the next tier, so we're going to do hunter's gear, which requires fewer people in each hunter hut. And another gathering post over here by these 2 coal piles. So we want to get a coal thumper or a coal mine up before these piles are all exhausted. Otherwise we won't be able to keep the generator running. So I'm going to put a steam hub kind of far away from the... Because the generator, as it gets upgraded, the radius comes out more and more. So I want to put this steam hub kind of outside the second ring at least. And then I want to build houses around it. Probably tents to start, and then later bunk houses. So that's the fighting area, and I want to surround that by houses.
Night is coming. Put down your tools.
Okay, so we got that fighting arena in. That quest is done. More hunter huts. Since we have a few idle people. I like how the snow melts around the those steam hubs. It's really cool. And I'm just heating that gathering post so that they stay nice and toasty warm while they're getting that coal. So we found some survivors. We're just going to send them back so we can keep exploring. Now I try to take on every single survivor near the end of the game, so that ends up being a big population, so we have to build a ton of houses per people. And I think I end up upgrading every single living quarters into houses, which are the warmest. The game is still a bit laggy and choppy sometimes, because I have the settings on max. Hopefully that's fixed once they release the real full optimized version. I'm going to put some more tents in around this steam hub here, so they stay warm. We got 35 homeless, that's not good, so these tents should help. Shelter promises done, that's good. Now I'm going to go with radical treatment as the next law. Try to keep the laws going every time they kind of count down and try to queue up the next one. So next research, I'm going to do the coal thumper. Basically like hammers the ground and releases coal. And then you build gathering huts around it. 2 to 3 gathering huts beside it are optimal. Oh, and I try to attack the bears here and kill all my scouts. So I gotta build another scouting team. Sometimes you can win that battle, it's random. But that time I did not. Another gathering post. Now I shouldn't have built it there, I should have built it between those two resources, but I think I go in and I fix it. Maybe not. I'm kind of narrating this after the fact, because it's hard to narrate and play really fast at the same time. Yeah, so I cancel it and I move it over so it covers both of those. Hook it up with the road. We got more people now, so we can fill up those hunter huts finally. I'm going to research drawing board, which is kind of like the tier 2 research. Got 21 hours of coal left. More survivors, more homeless, so we got to build more homes soon. Here, I'm going to put in that coal thumper. Now this can go pretty far outside your city, because you can heat it if you've got heaters. But then you got to save some space for the gathering huts, or gathering posts behind it. Because this thing dumps coal kind of in behind it itself. Makes a pile, and then you build a gathering post right behind it. So we got some starving people. Or hungry, not starving yet. But those hunter huts should cover it. Might want to build one more. I've been watching Sky Storm. He did a playthrough. I think it was like a 10-part series, and he totally filled his map up. He did a really good job. I think all his resources were like filling capped, and he I think he saved around 300 people or something. He cracks me up sometimes. He does some funny stuff. But I think he's playing on hard mode now. I haven't tried that out yet. I might try that out next playthrough. But I want to try the new scenarios that are coming out first. So next research. Not quite sure what I do here. Oh yeah, generator power. Because it's going to get cold at day 10 there. I want to keep things warm. It's hard to keep up with the coal demand though. As you keep upgrading the generator, it consumes quite a bit of coal. So here I'm putting gathering posts right behind the coal thumper. Now 2 is just barely enough to keep up, but not quite, so you get coal piling up sometimes. So I like to build 3. And public house is next. It's like a place for them to drink and stuff, keeps them happy.
A new law has passed.
But I think you can only build 1 of those. Sawmill's going well, but the trees will only last so long. There's 1,200 wood that we have at that sawmill, and then once that's gone, we'll either have to build another sawmill, or I prefer to do the wall drill after that,
Time off.
because it can tie right into the wall, which has I think 100,000 wood. Okay, they need more shelter, so it kind of auto generates quests for you. Like if you don't have enough housing, it'll generate a quest, and hopefully I get enough housing in this time around. So I'm gonna build them around that steam hub, keep them nice and warm, but we're out of wood as usual. So when people say build more houses, sometimes you can't because you just don't have the wood. I do have idle workers, so I could have put in a second sawmill, but I didn't bother. Not until later. Gotta keep those gathering posts warm. Heat looks pretty good. Ideally everything would be red, but it's super cold out right now.
The work shift starts.
So we gotta get people employed in that coal thumper for it to actually work. Okay, we're gonna do range on the generator next, so we get kind of another ring out. So here we go. Get people thumping that coal. It's about 50 per hour, which is pretty good. One more hunter hut, because we have more people. We're gonna need more food.
Work day ends. It's time off.
I might try playing around with hot houses in future playthroughs, but I find because they require steam cores, the hunter huts and the flying hunter huts just are much better. Later on, there's a building where you can use you can build an outpost to get kind of renewable steam cores. Yeah, so I do bunk houses next. It's just an upgrade for the tent. It has more insulation, keeps people warm. Which we'll need because it's going to get cold again. quite max out that hunter's hut. Kind of limited on people. So emergency shift I do next, and I actually use that quite a few times just to crank up production rates. We need it at the sawmill because we're really low on wood. That causes discontent to go up, but there's other events that'll bring that back down, so it's okay. I think if discontent reaches 100, the like full bar, I think it might be game over, but I'm not sure. I've never actually gotten there. So I'm going to put that public house in, so that so we don't fail that quest. And more housing, which will eventually upgrade to bunk houses, unless I built bunk houses. I probably should have built more medical tents earlier on, because I got 9 sick people there. Oh, there we go. That 2 of them should keep up with things. Need engineers in there though.
Time to rest, folks. Work's out for today.
Kind of moving some workers around here. And gonna tear down that gathering post because all those 2 coal piles are gone. Freed up some people.
Work time. Get back to work.
So the sawmill upgrade, that helps a little bit. Gonna keep exploring here. Head to the crash site. Another gathering post resources depleted, so we gotta tear that down. Now, it generated a quest because we're feeding them soup. So I took it on. I set it back to regular rations. Get them happy again, and then we'll stick them back on the soup probably. Dismantle that old gathering post because we don't need it anymore. And you actually get quite a few resources back when you dismantle buildings. Something like 90%, 80%. I'm gonna put in some more bunk houses around our steam core just to keep them warm.
Workday ends. It's time off.
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna research next. Coal mining, yeah. I prefer coal mining to the coal thumper. Actually, I do medical post first, but later on I do coal mine. Because the coal mine later on, you can put automatons on it. You can put automatons on the coal thumper as well later, but I just prefer the mine. It has many upgrades as well. And you can put there's like 3 different versions of the coal mine. There's one that uses 2 steam cores and there's one that uses 3 steam cores. I think the 3 steam core one gives 600 coal per day and or sorry, 900. The 3 steam cores is 900 and the 2 steam cores is 600. And there's, I think, efficiency upgrades for each of those. So we still have 5 homeless. Just gotta stick in one more tent, which I'll upgrade to a bunkhouse later. Gotta conserve our steel for technology upgrades, because almost every single technology upgrade requires steel. Now we only have 4 hours of coal left on the generator, so we're gonna do moonshine next. That's a really nice upgrade. Keeps people happy, doesn't have any kind of side effects. And now it just got warmer, which is good. I kind of flail around a bit because I'm trying to go fast.
Work time. Get back to work.
So it's not, we're kind of consuming the coal faster than we can produce it there. That's the issue. Got our first amputation, so we need the prosthetics law, which we can't sign yet because we're still doing research. We're doing, sorry, we're waiting for the law cooldown. Things look pretty warm at the moment, but that's going to change around day 15. That medical post research upgraded. Now we're going to do next tier. So we're doing this second tier, or third tier, I guess. We had our first death. I think we worked them to death. Oops. And I keep everyone working even though that guy died on the job. Because we need the coal. If we don't keep them working, everyone's gonna die.
Gather your tools. The shift is ending.
Gotta keep exploring. We got a steam core out of that one. We're gonna keep going though. I like to do quite a few trips before we head back to the city. It's more efficient than going back and forth. Now I did a few practice runs before this, not full playthroughs, but like my first try within 5 minutes I knew that I kind of did a bad build order. And second try I got about 10 minutes in and realized it wasn't the optimal order. Not optimal, but not very good. And this is the one I stuck with. It has lots of issues, but I'm somewhat pleased with it. So we need to get a steelworks in pretty soon. But we're running out of coal.
Move. Time to get to work.
So we're going to do coal mining next. I prefer it to the, oh here we go, the automaton. Our first automaton, we're going to send it back, probably stick it on the coal mine that we're going to build. Keep exploring. People are not very happy that it looks like a winter home is not doing very well. Low coal. So we gotta get a coal mine in there. We can build 2 here. But we need more steel first. So I might put in the steelworks first. Hook it up with the road. I've been reading on the forums, people are not happy that you can get through the main scenario so quickly. But when the game launches tomorrow, I think with 3 scenarios there'll be a lot more playability. And the scenarios might be different. Like this main scenario might be longer or different. Because there are enough resources to go quite a bit longer. So I don't know if it'll be limited to 45 days like it was in this one. Now I'm going to do flying hunters next, but I can't because I'm out of steel.
Work day ends. It's off time.
Get that steelworks up. So we found some people. We're just going to send them back so we can keep exploring. Some of them might die on the return trip, but for efficiency, we got to just keep exploring. Now, I'm not researching anything at the moment because I'm out of steel, which is not good. Yeah, a little bit starved for steel. But that steelwork should help. I don't like to get bottlenecked like this where we're not researching and we're not... I should be doing a law right now, but I'm not. We probably have way too much food. Get some people back on the sawmill. And I did a 24-hour shift here at the steelworks just so we can get our steel back up quickly. Now we can finally do flying hunters. Which is kind of a nice upgrade to the hunter hut. And we can put our steel, our coal mine in. That used up our only steam core, but our exploration scout party has some steam cores on them. And they'll probably find some more. Oh, they just found one more. So eventually I'll bring them back with all those juicy resources. Now I'm kind of trying to decide whether I want to go to Winterhome here or not. It doesn't really matter whether you go to Winterhome or not. The Londoners quest kicks off regardless. So if you go to Winterhome, it lets your people know that everyone has died there and they get depressed and the Londoners quest starts. But if you don't go there, then a lone survivor from Winterhome arrives at your village and tells them that everyone has died at Winterhome. So our Automaton just arrived. So we'll probably get that in the coal mine and then we don't have to heat it. And it's getting cold again. Colder. So I might do some overdrive. Depends on how cold things get. You don't have to heat the hunter's huts, which is kind of a nice thing. Now I was going to do extended shift, but I think I go with dueling law instead. Yeah.
Hear me. New law in the city.
So here's that lone survivor from Winterhome. And that causes hope to go way down. And there's riots and stuff. So here's where we pick faith or order, and I'm going to go with faith. I prefer it over order. My first playthrough was with order. My second, which I didn't do full episodes on, I did with faith, and I really liked it, so I'm going to use it again for this speedrun. I kind of just wanted to challenge myself to see how fast I could play it through. Oh, we need to get those corpses buried. But we've got our book of laws on cooldown, so we can't quite do it. So these churches, houses of prayer, they don't need to be they don't require any people. But they should be close to housing. Because the more coverage on housing they have, the better. Keeps people happy. Gives them hope. Here's the Londoners event. So, got 14 of them, and the tendency is way up for them to join the Londoners. So we gotta increase hope and reduce discontent to try to get that tendency to be down instead of up. Gonna put in one more house of prayer here once we get that road built. Now I wanted to cover lots of houses, so I'm gonna stick one right there, I guess. Now, eventually that steam hub will have a larger radius. Okay, here's Winter Home. Destroyed. Frozen. Gonna keep exploring. I probably should have headed back to the city with that scout party, just because they had a lot of stuff on them. But I just keep going instead. So we got flying hunters done, that's good. We can start upgrading some of our hunter huts. And since we have hunter huts right now, actually I think I go with, I can't remember what I go with here. Improved heaters? Yeah, maybe? No? Oh yeah, I do factory, because I want to get automatons, start building them.
Workday ends. It's time off.
People are complaining about corpses, so I gotta get that corpse, it's like a cold hut where you put corpses. We need that pretty soon. Here we go. Corpse disposal. I've tried cemetery. It's good as well. But I'm gonna go with corpse disposal instead. We're like chronically low on coal. We only got 5 hours of coal left. So I turn things down so we last a bit longer. That's usually just during the night though, because once the day ramps up again. Yeah, I definitely should have headed back at that point, but I just keep exploring. The Londoners are getting more followers, which is bad. Gotta get that tendency down. Now there's prayers that we can do at those new House of Prayer. That'll increase hope. That should help things out. In one of my playthroughs, I was able to get Londoners down to essentially 0. So it was like a non-event. But in this playthrough, I don't quite get it down to 0. Make sure we got full utilization on all our buildings there. I wish rotating was a bit faster, because sometimes you gotta rotate and it's just a bit slow. We still have 32 homeless, which is not good. So we gotta get some more houses in there. But we need more coal production so we can, you know, turn that generator up, keep everyone warm. Got to get some more housing in there, so we're going to do bunk houses. I just put an emergency shift on the coal thumper just to get all that coal spewing out, so our gathering huts can, or gathering posts can slurp it up. Yeah, we gotta build our body dump. And I put in another kind of research center so we can get through the tech even faster. Now I know 4 is kind of optimal, but I don't know. There's diminishing returns each time you build one. I'm not sure what happens with the 5th one or 6th, like how many research points you get. But we have idle engineers, so good to get that workshop full.
End of shift. Go rest all who can.
And we need more bunk houses, so we got some warm areas around that steam hub we can use. And 2 should cover it, plus give a bit of spare space for the next people who come and join us. And we found all these children. I can't leave them, so we're gonna... Oh, I sent them back. I should have escorted them back. That would have been the nice thing to do, but I just send them back. Now look at all that stuff we have. I should have come back to the city earlier, but they're complaining about the cold, so we're going to try to heat some of the homes. Gotta get that snow pit in there. And I should be doing another law right now, because the laws are all cooled down. Hopefully I notice at some point. The Londoners gain more followers, that's bad. One more medical post, just because we're not keeping up with the sick. Here we go. Finally, corpse disposal.
Listen, everyone. New law is signed.
People don't really like that, so I think maybe in the future I'll go with cemetery. Just getting that snow pit in there. The old popsicle for the human popsicle body dump.
Move. Time to get to work.
Now I think I should have been doing the prayers earlier in the faith buildings, but I don't think I got on that as fast as I should have. I want to do that wall drill next because it's kind of not infinite wood, but essentially infinite wood. But it takes a steam core, so we can't do it just yet. So next research, what should we do? Yeah, overdrive couplings. It's good for when you want to put the generator in overdrive. Now we're going to escort these people back because we got all these resources we have to bring back. Kind of maxed out on coal, so we should probably build more storage. And those scouts are going to bring back lots of resources, so I should have built more resource storage, but now instead of upgrading the hunter huts that we already have, I'm going to build a new flying hunter hut, and eventually I'll go back and upgrade those hunter huts. And yeah, our coal is maxing out, so we really need some more storage. Now if I had the resources, I'd upgrade all these tents, because it's going to get cold at day 21. We're going to do some more faith here, so we're going to do evening prayers. And I think I use it right away, because it's going to help hope quite a bit. So there we go, we'll just do both prayers. And keep an eye on that cooldown so we can just keep repeating that. It's fun to play on the fastest speed. Now I pause sometimes to do a little bit of planning, but most of the time I'm just going full out. It definitely makes the game more challenging than pausing and thinking and planning, and it's way too easy if you just kind of go at a leisurely pace. That's why I'm probably going to try the hard settings. So we just researched improved heating there, heaters, put another steam hub in, probably build out another housing district. I'm going to put some storage in at the very kind of outer ring of the I guess the crater, because storage doesn't need to be heated, so tuck it way back there.
Work day ends. It's off time.
Now people are happy that they got faith to unite them. Now I know I could put more workers in that hunter's hut, but I like to keep some workers for building. Gonna put coal in that resource depot because we're kind of maxing out. Oh, we got some people writing bad things on the wall, so we're gonna go send the clerics to clean that up. And the Londoners are still getting more followers. Oh, and then all these people come back. The scouts come back. And I didn't quite have enough storage for everything, so we missed out on some wood. Could put some more storage in. Yeah, so make sure when your scouts are coming back with lots of resources that you got enough room. Otherwise, I think the extra resources just get destroyed. So keep scouting around here. Now I want to build that factory next, but we're really low on steel. So we're going to do an extra work shift at the steelworks. So we can get that factory up. Because I want to build a lot of automatons. So we can really ramp up our resource production. Trying to put something in there so that it's heated. Now I hate wasting little tiny bits of space in between buildings like that, but couldn't really be helped. The city's looking pretty good. It's growing up. Oh, we got a woman in despair. Gonna do hunting tactics next. That's gonna free up quite a few people from all those hunter's huts. Get them doing more useful work.
Finish your labors, people. The work day is done.
And we're gonna do the temple next, I think. Actually, Faith Keepers next.
Hear me, hear me. New law in the city.
Because they keep the faith. So we gotta build one of those pretty soon. Discontent's going down. We gotta get that hope up even more though. Another active vandalism, so we gotta clean that up. We got one homeless, so we gotta stick in a bunkhouse somewhere. Or a tent. Got lots of heated area up there, so we'll jam it up there. Yeah, the city's coming along pretty well. And like I said, this is going to be a 3-episode playthrough. Gotta make a decision there with the Faith Keepers. So like I said, it's about 2.5 hours is what it took to finish. Kind of on the speed run. So let me know if you want to see the next episode. Do some more prayers there. Get that hope up. I wanted to do like the full playthrough again just to show the build order and
The work
kind of
shift starts.
what all the research is, because I try to get all the research done. So last thing I build here is going to be the factory. Seems like a good place to end it. So hope you enjoyed that episode. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.